I'm Charlie, and today on Munching Around Milwaukee, my guest is Josh Mendiola. Josh,
Hi.
good
Nice to meet you.
afternoon. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So, Josh is the chef de cuisine at Sanford Restaurant here in downtown Milwaukee. Sanford is a fine dining restaurant, always one of the top restaurants here in the city. And Josh has been there now for about 4+ years.
Yeah, 4+ years since December of 21.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and kind of get started here. So I wanted to first give you one of our little tote bags, so you
Ooh.
can, when you're
Thank you.
getting all your cool stuff from the various markets and stuff, you can bring it home in that.
Absolutely.
And Josh, who works at Sanford, has brought some really cool stuff. So, all right. So why don't you tell us what this is right here, Josh?
For sure. So that's our rendition of a beef kofta. It's an Armenian dish of beef ragu, stuffing inside around a beef and bulgur shell. And so we'll braise out beef for a couple hours, and then we'll make a ragu out of it. We'll turn it into tiny little balls, and then we'll make a shell that kind of encased on it, and we'll sear that off. Underneath is a summer pepper muhammara, walnuts, peppers, kind of pureed together with some marinated peppers, pickled pomegranates, walnuts, and a little bit of beer vinegar. A little snippet about the beer vinegar. At Sanford, we do a lot of cellared beer. We have a really nice cellared beer program, and so sometimes we'll use some of those beer to make our vinegar for the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's similar to a romesco. It's got the nuts and the.
Yep.
Okay. Good.
So instead of Spanish, we'll go leaning towards the Middle East. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and this one is really interesting.
Awesome. So this is a Filipino rendition of okoy, or another word is okoy. It's a sweet potato fritter with a little bit of seafood, but on this end, we're doing a little bit more similar to a latke, with some marinated shellfish and mollusk tossed in some annatto vinaigrette. And then there's a little bit of cilantro and scallions with that.
All right. So, Tom, you want to start? Would you guys like to eat?
Okay. I won't say no to a bite.
All right. Yeah.
Here. Why don't you grab that? That's meat.
Yes.
This is non-meat, and it's Ash Wednesday, so I'm a non-meat today.
Awesome.
Dave, you want to start? And then we'll kind of pass through and then come back to Josh.
Sure, enjoy.
And then we'll get rolling.
Cool.
All right, so Josh, let's talk about.
Okay, give me one.
You have mentioned that you were born in the Philippines.
Yep.
So you lived in the Philippines till you were about 10.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you talk about growing up in the Philippines before moving here to Illinois when you're about 10 years old?
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of moved around a lot when I was a kid in the Philippines. The last time before we moved, we owned a grocery store,
Okay.
which just kind of ties in like how Sanford used to be an Italian grocery store.
Right.
So we used to live on the basement of the grocery store, and I would work as a kid on my non-school days at the grocery stores, and we would serve like soda stuffed in bags that will freeze in like as an icicle situation. We serve different kinds of dessert that my dad used to make, and yeah, there's a little bit of a background where my grandmother on my father's side had 16 children. It was great. And
That's
so,
what we would call prolific.
yes, absolutely. And so this is the story I really love to tell, is that my grandmother and my grandfather on my dad's side was the most popular couple in like their town, and they were very jealous of one another, or like jealous of other people. And so they ended up being together, and they decided to just have so many children. And every single one of them has the same name. And so
It's not George Foreman, is it?
it is not.
Okay.
It is Ernesto, which is the name of my grandfather,
Uh-huh.
and then Maria, which is the name of my grandmother. And so my dad is Ernesto the 11th. And so
That is unique.
and I always joke around that my grandparents never really had a hobby besides love each other. And so it was really fun to just like say that, like, it's my favorite story to tell because I can't keep up of every single name of my uncles.
My Uncle Ernesto and my Uncle Ernesto,
Right.
and that's my Uncle Ernesto, and my Uncle Ernesto.
Yeah, and it's like, which number are they? Like, it's really hard to like kind of pinpoint every single one. But everybody like loves to cook and loves to eat, and so
Well, one of the things that you mentioned, some of the sweet potato with the seafood, that's got a Philippine bent to it. So
yeah,
you've brought, this one thing I want to talk about eventually, is you brought your Philippine culture and heritage and into your cooking.
absolutely.
Okay. So you moved to Illinois. You grow up there, and then eventually you head off to college, UWM here in Milwaukee. So talk about heading off to college, and then and you haven't left since you've been here.
No, I've been here for about 11 plus years now.
Okay.
So I was on and off at the beginning of college. Like as a freshman, I would move back home, work a couple summer jobs. Like I used to work at a assisted living place. I was a server there and slash prep cook, and then go back to the city. But I just really, really enjoyed being in Milwaukee. I've seen the last 11 years the growth of like the culinary scenes here and just the amount of people that I've met that is a part of the food and beverage community here.
Yeah, that's you're right on the cusp of when it really started to take off. Some of that 12 to 14, 2012, 2014 is when things started to ascend.
Yeah.
So while you were in college, I know you worked at a couple different places.
Yes.
So why don't you talk about that, because that kind of set you on your journey to where you are today.
Right. And so I went to college for occupational therapy, which is non-culinary whatsoever. I was also minoring in psychology with a little bit of a therapeutic recreation. It's all kind of worked out because before
These are delicious, by
I
the way.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's so comforting. It's like crunchy, slightly crunchy on the outside, and it's like just really like luscious at the end. But going back to the question, I used to work at Bel Air Cantina. It was in conjunction working at the Pabst Theater as well. And so I was an event staffer there, and then I worked in catering for Bel Air. I was actually applying to be a host slash server at the time, but the catering person at the time, his name's Eric Busby, was just like, I need someone to work catering. We're trying to like expand this whole thing. It's like, sure, as a young college student's like, all right, great summer job, just going to different festivals, going to like drop off food. Like that's amazing. I get to drive a taco truck. That one they still have like the sprinkler ban.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is always putting the hazard on, and I can just park anywhere. And I was like, oh, I gotta go grab some coffee real quick. Put the hazards on. But it really taught me like interpersonal communication, like just being able to talk to people. I was logging like massive equipment from the basement up, talking to people around the festival grounds, and just being able to kind of promote the brand. I was also doing a bunch of like wedding consulting situation just for like food base. So I was able to kind of like get out of my shell and be able to like talk to people and not just be very awkward in that way. But also during the events, we would always like, we will cook all of the food mostly to order in there. And so we get to like, I get to experience how our chefs at the time in Bel Air kind of work these events, and like the efficiency and the organization that kind of like got me through to like the next step that I needed to go.
And so you also, I know you were at Cloud Red while you were at UWM, so in Shorewood where I used to live. So talk a little bit, because that's an interesting place too.
Yes. Yeah, because it used to be the old Shorewood Village pub.
Right.
It was right next to the liquor store, I believe.
Kensington Liquors.
Yeah. And so that was a random thing where I just signed up from Craigslist. It was when I'm trying to pursue cooking on a full-time basis and trying to leave Bel Air at the same time. So I met with Becca Goldberger, who's one of the owners of the bar slash pub, and just kind of fell in love with it. It was a tiny kitchen, very straight up menu. Like we were talking on the phone earlier this week about having the menu just plastered.
The menu's on the wall and,
the wall,
and
written
chalk,
out.
I guess, and then you'd have. Is it a menu? No, it's back there. So you look back and see, what the specials were today.
Yeah, you go to the bar, you order your food. I think as a business standpoint, that's very smart of like how big is the space. I would remember working on Tuesdays because they have time back into like the taco stuff. They have like a taco special specifically for
Right.
Shorewood High School teachers,
Uh huh.
and the margaritas. Those are always a big sell.
Not for the Sherwood teachers during the school year.
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
maybe after when they're
Okay.
like
Okay.
after their class, after teaching and stuff like that. But it was good. Like I really enjoyed working for that space. It was conjunction working at Good City as well. Both worked there for about
Good City Brewing.
Good City Brewing.
Okay.
When it was still open at the time. Well, I think they were actually just open up for like after a year. And so when they were just on their up and up, met so many people there that I consider really good friends with, and like just amazing like people that kind of like learn starting out as in the field. So yeah.
And so you, it was Goodkind where you went to next.
Yes.
Okay.
And so after working a couple, like for about 9 to 10 months between Cloud Red and Good City, I wanted to take a next step. So I applied at Goodkind back in
I'm gonna grab one of these. Go ahead. Excuse me.
2018 on a part-time basis. This was also at the time when Dan was about to like on the process of opening and
Right.
stuff like that. And there's like a big shift of like where culinary like chefs around the city are trying to figure out where they're going. Because sometimes that's just how it's a small city. Everybody's just kind of jumping around. And I really got locked out on being able to work at Goodkind and the crew that they have there when I was starting. Paul and Lisa and Katie Rose both are amazing mentors and awesome like business owners, and I really learned a lot from them as well.
So one of the things that you and I had talked about previously is, and you were very clear, you've worked for a lot of good people that have been mentors.
Yeah.
So why don't you talked about Paul and Lisa at Goodkind. They're, again, one of the top restaurants in town, has been for many years. So talk a little bit about some of these mentors and what they've meant to you, and you've learned a lot and just absorbed a lot from these people who are very successful.
For sure. Paul and Lisa taught me how to be, well, let's start with, they taught me how to cook intuitively, to cook with your heart, to cook with, not just by a recipe, but with taste and by feeling. I think Paul is amazing at coming up with dishes a lot, on the fly, and being like tying in all his experiences into a dish. Lisa, I think, is probably one of the best chefs in the city, and I can't rave, like, I could just keep raving about her because I think she has this very sensual way of cooking, that I think she's a genius. We always joke around that Lisa is just this sensei, like Yoda-esque, that she can just come up with a dish and it'll be stunning and it'll be great. And then even then, like the people that I work with at Goodkind at the time too, like Teresa, she works in Memphis now. She runs a restaurant called Fawn.
Okay.
And my old sous chef at the time too was Elias. Both of them came in with a lot of nuance into cooking. Teresa focused a lot on like Mediterranean, Middle Eastern stuff, and then Elias tackled a bunch of his Peruvian heritage. And to this day, I always try to bring up some of his stuff that he would make for staff meal into like where I'm going. So, yeah.
So where you currently are,
Yeah.
at Sanford, you mentioned that Justin and Sarah, right?
Yes.
Are mentors to you.
Absolutely.
So talk a little bit about those two.
Yeah. Justin and Sarah has been, I think, more than friends, they're family now at this point. They've been such good people to myself and to my spouse. They've been amazing, like, just overall, like, people to just kind of talk real things to. I've learned from Justin how to manage. I'm still learning how to manage. And also just working with food with intention. And I think that with all the people that comes through Sanford and like the people that we're training and like the cooks that we've had, we always say that you have to work with intention and you also have to work with integrity. You've gotta have an idea and like this process of momentum, that you want to do things now so that later will be beneficial for you. So we do a lot of like pickling. I've learned through a lot of that.
Uh-huh.
I've learned through how to work in a setting of like in a not catering, but just how to make things in volume and making sure that it's still good. The layering of flavors, I think, is probably my favorite part of the job. We work with a lot of acidity, but then we also worked in some bitterness in there as well. I think that people don't realize that bitter plays a really big part in your palate. It prolongs some of those acidity, and that's why it's sometimes like really tannic wines, but still highly acidic, just kind of like forms around your palate much better, like really well. Yeah, there's like in like a cooking standpoint, I really enjoyed like having Justin as a mentor and having Justin as a friend, and Sarah's, and they're just really amazing people. I think that ultimately between Paul, Lisa, Katie Rose, and Justin, I think that I just really gravitated people that are just very genuine
Right.
and just really care about the community and really care about the people that they employ.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Sanford.
Yeah.
So you've been there for 4 years, and I know you know the story. There's when I lived in Shorewood, my neighbors right behind me,
Yeah.
the Johnstones,
Yeah.
Dave and Candace, and they are. How often are they at Sanford?
Oh,
I know there is either every Friday or every other Friday
Yep.
that they're there.
Yeah.
And they know everybody. They know the people in the kitchen. They probably know the dishwashers. I know they know everybody in the front of the house. And it's just amazing. I've been there with them a couple times. And I told Dave, I saw him over at his Christmas party, that you were going to come on the show. I said, oh, I definitely want to come. But he's in California, so he couldn't come. But they speak very highly, and, they're there.
Yeah, I think we really appreciate that they always want to celebrate with us on their date nights. Yeah, the Johnstons, David and Candace are just amazing people as well. They're always like, "Is Justin in the kitchen?" And they're like, "Just want to say hi." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Like, and they're again like the idea of the genuine people. They're both very genuine people, and
Yeah.
we really appreciate that the amount of business that they brought for the restaurant.
Well, that's probably an understatement.
Yeah.
No, but obviously, we've loved having them as neighbors.
Yeah.
They're great people, and they speak very highly of Sanford. And they are. And I think they're typical of a lot of the people that frequent the restaurant. They're just there's a slew of people that now you would say they're regulars or semi-regulars.
Yes, we have like the Quigleys, the Stones. For me, starting out, it was really difficult to like.
Fred and Wilma.
Yeah, like just the amount of people when I was first starting, I was like, I can never picture the name between the faces. But being there for 4 years now, it's really nice to just see the amount of like regulars that we have, and like even like not like as regular as the Johnstones, but like would come in like every 6 months. Like we built up those relationships.
Sure.
And I think that's very important, especially for the restaurant that is Sanford, that's been open for 36 years now, going into 37, and it's such an institution. And I think that it's good to highlight that I think that like there's a beauty in relationship building and our guests and the way we treat our guests and why they keep coming back for all these years.
So talk a little bit about how the menu is put together, because it's not go in and order an entree and head on out.
Right.
Now talk a little about the experience at Sanford, because I think that is the thing that people love when they go there.
Absolutely. And so currently we have three different menus. We've reintroduced the exploration menu, which was there even before I started. It's a good way it's a 3-course menu that kind of highlights a themed sense. This past 3 weeks, we've used Jeffrey's, our old general manager that recently passed away. We did an exploration menu about him and what he loves about eating. And now we just started with a Caribbean menu just yesterday.
Oh.
And so I'm really excited about that one. We have a Manish water, which is a Jamaican goat stew, but instead of goat, we're using lamb.
Okay.
We have a dobless, which is a Trinidadian slash Tobago dish, like a street food dish of like a chickpea flatbread. We're serving that with some scray, just to kind of tie in the
Just fish, right?
fish fry situation. And so those are served on Tuesday till Thursday. We also have our regular 4-course menu, which is kind of set up as like choose your own adventure. You get to choose a first course, a second course, an entree, and a dessert. It's a good way to kind of people like see what we're doing. It's a good way to try different kinds of food all at once, like not all at once, but kind of coursed out.
Right.
And then we also have our surprise tasting menu, which is a 7-course experience. Yeah.
That's what David Candace like to do a lot. So just bring it on. Just keep on bringing
Yeah.
it. But it is the experience. I mean, you're not going to be a successful restaurant if the food's not good. I mean, take that for granted.
Right.
That any successful restaurant in this town and anywhere, if the food's not good, the people aren't going to come.
Yeah.
But it's the experience of places like Sanford, Birch. You name the good places in town.
Yeah.
Amalinda. I mean, Greg Leone, you're his best friend when you walk in the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the experience, I think, that has been cultivated at Sanford over the years, especially I was not there before when Sandy was there, Sandy D'Amato. But since Justin's been there, and the experience is just why people love going there.
Yeah.
So there's the staff. You have a lot of your staff who's been there for a while, correct?
Absolutely. So our biggest mainstay is Ralph, who's been there since the restaurant opened. I also was with Sandy when he was working at, John Byron's, which was an institution. It used to be in the old U.S. Bank building when Sandy opened that up as well. And so Ralph's been with us for a very long time. And I like to joke that he's our mascot. And he works only on Saturdays, but we have a slew of regulars just looking forward to being served by Ralph. We have Kira, who's been there for about 6 to 7 years. Okay. So all in all, we have a really good retention rate. And I think that specifically for Ralph, it's a good example of how this industry can be like a long-term thing for a lot of people.
Sure.
You have to look at into the back of the house too with Justin, who's worked there since he was a teenager, and like as a prep cook worked his way up, bought the restaurant in 2012 and still there. Like,
right.
I mean, he owns the restaurant now, but like just the longevity of it all, right? And I think that's also beautiful to see. And like, how are they able to retain this many people for this long? And ultimately it's because the hospitality, the experience that they provide, but also it's just going back to like, they're just really nice people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the charity work.
Absolutely.
I know that you do a lot of work around town. There's one in particular that we kind of touched on.
Yeah.
So you did an event probably a year or two ago with Pearls.
Yep.
It used to be Pearls for teen girls, and now it's just they've sliced just Pearls.
Pearls, yeah.
And the executive director is Tiffany Tardy. Actually was on the show, on our community leader show.
Yeah.
And the previous executive director, Danae Davis, who's a good friend, came with her, and she helped, she was her sous chef around, goofing around here. And then it was in conjunction with Kinship, which is Caitlin Cullen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who we agree is one of the most interesting, unique.
Oh, I love Caitlin.
Oh, I do too.
I think she's a hoot.
So talk about that, and then some of the other charity work that you get into.
Awesome. So actually, it was through Caitlin that introduced me to Pearls. I'm familiar of the organization because I had a friend who was their event coordinator during like the pandemic. But since then, Caitlin has been in conjunction with Kinship, has been partnered up with Pearls for this Pearls who like chefs to cook, or like Pearls for cooking. Which I think is an amazing event that highlights that being in the food and beverage industry is an option for a career choice for all these kids. And it was nice to kind of introduce kids like in Filipino cooking. We've had 2 events already. We had one in November, and the one was in January of last year. I had the same person. Her name is Ava. She's in high school now, but before that she was in middle school. And the way that she lights up, learning about these different food that we just introduced to her is amazing. And then sometimes they're all just random kids that were just like, oh, can I help plate? And all this stuff. I think that the event has been very popular, and I can't wait to go on to the next one. But ultimately, I really enjoyed that part of Pearls. It's like to kind of introduce kids to different avenues in the culinary scene and introduce them to food that they probably haven't had. And
Right.
so, yeah.
Well, that it's not just kids in the city. I mean, that's just kids in general. Most kids have palates that are about that big.
Yeah.
And so to expand the horizons on and try different things. I mean, my oldest son ate cheese pizza and cheese potatoes until he went away to college, and then you go to college and there's this whole thing out there to eat. So to expose them early to different things, I think, is an amazing part of the experience of kind of growing up in this area, since we have such a great food scene. I mean, there are kids that live less than a mile here that have never seen Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
They've never been to the beach. They've never. So those are the experience that you want people to get. And since the food scene, and eating is an important part of life, it's just a great thing. So appreciate you do that. So I know that Justin does it, and are you involved in any of these other chef collaborations that they're all over town? Every time it has an event, there's 10 or 15 different chefs are there.
Yeah, for sure. I tend to help out a lot on our outside events. I think it's a good way to see people that you don't normally see on a normal basis. You work in an industry that long hours. You don't really go out. So it's nice to kind of see and be a part of that. I made friends and colleagues through those events. We recently did Ronald McDonald House dinner. That's usually in the Wisconsin Club. And so that's an event in conjunction with that
Oh,
organization.
who's that? I just had Joe Mensch on.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
love
he was-
Joe Mensch.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
So he's the head person that runs that. Joe and Justin have been really good friends for a very long time. He helps out when we do our hunger task force. Justin's very passionate about that organization, and so it's really important for us to be a part of that. So
Well, it's the work. I mean, the restaurant is great, and like I said, good food, people will come, and that's kind of an expected thing. We'll we'll put the restaurants out, but the stuff that's done in the community, the stuff that's people are trying to make the city a better place, trying to impart knowledge and just give experiences to people who've never quite frankly had that chance. So keep that going, and
absolutely.
Josh, thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Appreciate it. Thanks so
I
much.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Food was delicious. I'm gonna have one more of these
Have
before
more.
I
It's
go.
funny. So
I mean, and keep up the great work at Sanford. I'm sure I'll be by at some point in the near future.
Absolutely.
And I'll just, hey, is Josh in the kitchen?
feel free always. Right before you head up the bathroom to speak through. I'm just
Absolutely.
right in the corner working fish. So
All right. And thanks so much for supporting Munching Around Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Each week we talk to one of our local chefs, restaurateurs, foodies, or food influencers about our great, vibrant food scene here in Milwaukee. So until next time, thanks for watching.
thank you.
You don't need to clap. Just clapping.